Yeah. In this session, we will see about Linux kernel, basics of Linux kernel, how the Linux kernel will operate with respect to the drivers and peripheral access, with respect to kernel space and user space application. Basically, the kernel space is for Linux kernel, and user space is for basically for an application space accordingly over here. And here we have an different memory types that has been handled in Linux kernel is called physical memory and virtual memory. Basically, that physical memory is the one which is actually a system RAM which is present physically. For example, uh, BeagleBone contains 512 MB of DDR3 SDRAM, which is something like a 512 MB is the physical memory which is present on the BeagleBone platform, which is basic.
Presenting any like PPT, like we are going to see your Google Meet screen or
There is nothing.
we can see the screen, voice memory.
Yeah, voice memory type anything.
OS memory types you are seeing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not able to distinguish. Let me check.
Uh,
Thanks.
yeah. Basically, that physical memory will be used to load that operating systems and user programs, and the respective data informations will be loaded into the physical memory, and it gets executed from the physical memory accordingly over here. And the virtual memory is something like the memory management techniques to provide something like a abstraction of storage is some that we can say something like a illusion of creating a very large memory is called a virtual memory. For example, if suppose a 32-bit processor, it can have up to 4 gigabyte of virtual memory space. For example, if suppose we have the 512 MB DDR with on the BeagleBone, if suppose we wanted to execute an application with 1 gigabyte of application, then we may require the usage of virtual memory, that it's something like some portion will be on the physical memory and some portion will be on the storage, and whenever required it will be pushed from the storage and reverted from the storage accordingly, which is called a virtual memory. Basically, that which basically the virtual memory has been created with the help of memory management unit, which basically translates the physical memory and the virtual memory address accordingly over here. For example, here we will be having something like a virtual memory has been created with the 4 GB of virtual memory for a 32-bit processor, which has been used with the memory management unit with the memory map information. If suppose we are accessing that the virtual memory, and it will be checked for whether it is present on the physical memory or not. If it is not present on the physical memory, then it will be get reloaded from the storage space accordingly, in order to create a illusion of larger memory space to the system. For that, virtual memory comes into the place accordingly over here. This virtual memory is something like in case of 32-bit system, the maximum size of virtual memory size is something like a 4 gigabyte, which starts from all 0 to all FF, and in case of a 64-bit, it is theoretically 2 power of 64-bit, which is something like all followed by 64 zeros to the 64 ff. That is the maximum space it can able to execute accordingly. For example, that this virtual space is the one which provides the access to the to get run with the system. For example, this will be 4 GB with the page tables, and if suppose we are running some applications over here, and it just checks on the memory map. If it is present in the physical memory, then this portion of information will be directly get executed, and if suppose it is not present, it will be present in the storage space that will be get loaded into the physical memory, and then it will get executed accordingly. For example, in the BeagleBone Black, we have a 512 megabyte of physical memory, and if suppose we wanted to execute 1 gigabyte of application in using the 512 megabyte of 512 megabyte of SDRAM, then in that case, for example, that the 1 gigabyte application will be present in the whole virtual memory, which is physical memory plus addition of the storage space over here. And whenever the processor wanted to, for example, the processor is executing some portion of informations, some portion of application, then that it will checks for that particular access whether it is present on the physical memory. If suppose it is not present on the physical memory, then we will be getting something like a page miss on this location, and once the page miss is happened, it will be get loaded from the virtual the storage space. From that, it will be get loaded into the main memory, and then it gets started the execution accordingly by the processor over here. This will be handled by the complete memory management unit block of Linux kernel. That will be this complete memory management will be handled by MMU block of Linux kernel powered with the hardware MMU block of the system accordingly over here. And in this memory space, we will be having the division between the, for example, we have the, in case of 32-bit, we have the 4 gigabyte of virtual memory, and in case of a 64-bit, we have the 2 power 64 bytes of memory size for the virtual memory. In this, we have the separation for something like for example, in the 32-bit systems, the 1 gigabyte space of virtual memory is used for the kernel space, and 3 gigabyte of memory of virtual memory will be used for the user space accordingly. In case of a 64-bit system, the bottom 512 gigabytes of memory will be used for the kernel space, and the top 512 gigabyte of memory will be used for an user space in case of a 64-bit systems over here. And
Still we can use RAM as 512 MB for both the cases.
Yes, it's something like this is something like for example, BeagleBone is a 32-bit system, and we will be having that virtual memory of 4 gigabytes over here.
So virtual memory, like it's logical only, or like it's
Virtual memory is the logical one. Yes.
where does it present? Actually, it will not present anywhere.
It will not be present anywhere. It's something like, it will be something like virtually treated over here. This something like for example, if it has the 512 megabyte of memory, the rest of the things will be handled in the storage space.
Okay.
Like in the
Total we need then kernel space 1 GB plus 4 GB of storage, like 512 MB plus other offset in the storage. So
yes, yeah. other will be in the storage space accordingly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's something that for example in the Windows operating system, that we will be providing something like the memory space used for virtual that there will be option something like to set the virtual space memory in the Windows. Thus, in case of a Linux, it was been used with that directly with the virtual memory with the storage space accordingly over here. And in that case, we will be having, in case of a 32-bit systems, we will be having allocated with the kernel space of 1 gigabyte and 1 gigabyte of virtual memory and 3 gigabyte of user space of virtual memory accordingly over here. Yeah. Is that fine?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. It's something like that.
So put together, our RAM plus the hard disk or like the flash should have this 4 GB of memory.
Yes. For example, in some systems, we will be for example, we will be loaded with the memory map information only with respect to the physical memory. And that case, there won't be any additional storage space are required. For example, currently it was running very minimal and there won't be anything. And for example, that the 4 GB in the 4 GB, that usage will be very lesser only. For example, that we can see cat proc meminfo. Yeah. Yeah. For example, here it was used, for example, in the proc VM malloc from this space to this space was used in the IO table, and for example the virtual memory area, it was used like that for the IO remap, and like that it was been already defined in the allocations of the virtual memory over here. For example, if suppose if it is tries to access this location, there will be the respective mapping of in the main memory will be present in the MMU, so that from that it will be getting the data accordingly over here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's something like this area. For example, we can take an example of this area as a one page, and that will be having the respective access on the physical memory with in the memory map accordingly. Yeah. Yeah. And using the kernel space and user space, in the kernel space, the code will be executed with the highest privilege of supervisor mode. Basically, that all the kernel and the kernel module will be get executed in the kernel space with the highest privilege of supervisor mode, which basically the highest privilege of supervisor mode provides basically complete access to all the system resources, all the system memory access, all the hardware access, all the peripheral access. All those things will be available for the code which is executing on the kernel space. Basically, in Linux kernel, in kernel space, the kernel and the kernel drivers and kernel module and the kernel threads will be running in the kernel space. And in case of the user application space, the code will be running in very lowest privilege level of access, which something like which has been restricted to access the hardware, and it can the user applications can only able to access the hardware with the help of kernel driver or kernel module accordingly, and user application space provided with the restricted memory region access, and so that using whatever be the thing that we wanted to create a crash using the user space application, it won't crash the complete system. It just makes the crash of the user application only by providing any wrong information or wrong memory informations, wrong memory access. All those things will not allow the complete system to crash. It basically it whatever be the access provided to that particular user application, it can able to access to that process space only. It cannot able to access the hardware directly without the use of without the Linux kernel interface. If suppose it wanted to use the if suppose it wanted to access the hardware, the Linux provides the interface which is called an Linux system call. Basically, Linux system call is basically an fundamental interface between an user space application and Linux kernel, which basically will not be the Linux system calls will not be invoked directly from the by the application. The glibc provides various kind of wrapper function in order to generate the system call to get connected or get interacted or get the application to interface with the Linux kernel accordingly by the Linux system calls. Basically, that glibc has chdir function, which basically invokes the system calls of chdir system calls and copies the arguments into the register and invokes the call accordingly. For example, in order to trace the system calls, then we will be having a utility called strace is the system call over here. For example, I am going to use this on the system. Maybe we can, does not have. Maybe I am going to run this on the host PC over here. Maybe I am going to use strace. I am going to change the directory back. For example, the strace will provide something like what are all the system calls it has been called for while running the execution. For example, the setup.ssh, which access something like loads that loader library, and then it open it calls the fstat, and it does the system call of mmap, and it does the system call of close, like different commands, different system calls which has been called that we wanted to get that information, then we can use this strace accordingly. For example, maybe I am going to use bin, and we have something like a strace and dot slash cd which cd sorry if suppose we have something like I'm going to use the .cp, maybe I'm going to copy this, for example, make file to back to directory, then here we have something like a, while copying this a file from here to here, then we will be getting some kind of a different system calls which will be interacted, which will be get called and interact with the Linux kernel to copy that particular directory over here. For example, we are copying the make file from here to here, which basically uses something like a openet, and it basically reads the content and extract the content, and it will write that, for example, once the read has happened, and it will write that content into the respective output directory. For example, inside the // make file, it will be get open, and the content will be written into that using the write system call over here accordingly over here. This basically done with the help of system call interface which is present in the Linux kernel over here. And for example, the change directory will initiate the chdir, and copying will initiate something like a read system call and write system call, open system call to open the file and read the file content and write into the destination file content. A write system call will be called accordingly by the with the help of Linux system call accordingly over here, and which basically does the argument into the register and invokes the system call over here. For example, which we will be having something like a fstart will have the argument of a file node and mode of operations. All those things that we will be provided with the system call will be provided with the respective arguments that will be used accordingly over here. And whenever there is an failure, it will be written like a negative number, and negative number will be copied into as a error number that we will see while we are writing the kernel module over here. And this basically does something like a whatever be the user program which initiates the system call, and the Linux kernel will process the system call and returns back the data, respective data to the back to the user program accordingly over here. And the Linux system call flow will be something like a user code that will be generated, and a system call with the parameters. For example, the read will be done with that file node, and then those parameters will be given, and it switches to the kernel mode, and like in the kernel mode the system call will be get executed, and the respective data or respective results will be written back to the system call, and the respective information will be provided provided to the user application or user generated system call accordingly over here. And in order to use that information, something like a library call that we wanted to trace the library call, then we will use the ltrace utility, and in case of to trace the system calls, we will be using the strace utility accordingly in the system. And here we have some of the Linux system calls that will be used over here. It's something like open is the system call to open or create a file. In suppose there is no file is present, and we can use the options to get it created. And close is the close is the system call to close the file descriptor, and read is the one which is used to read the content from the file descriptors, and write is the one which is used to write into the file descriptors. ioctl is the one which is used to control the device, and seek is to change the or reposition the device accordingly, and poll fork is to create the child process. Chder is to change the directory working directory of the or the some of the system calls over here. Yeah. Is that fine? Shall we move forward with the Linux kernel module?
So all the drivers are as part of the kernel, it is in
Yes.
where does the driver sit?
All the for example that, yeah. The all the device drivers will be part of the Linux kernel. Yeah. All the networking stack and all the file system handling and all the task management, different all the process management and thread management and memory management and CPU initialization, all are part of the Linux kernel.
Is there any relation device driver and the memory management, the direct relation, like how it interacts?
There is no
Suppose if I'm adding an additional peripheral device to the device driver, so there has to be some memory allocation or mapping happening to that particular device.
yes.
How that is like
Actually,
that memory management, we have to modify something, or it is
no, we does not need to modify the memory management. Maybe we can use the APIs provided by the memory management, something like for example, from the user space we are providing that some data, then the data should be will be with the virtual memory of user space, and it has to be copied to the for example that whatever we have seen over here in the kernel space. Yeah, in the kernel space memory, if suppose from the user space, for example, we have allocated some memory and we are providing that
allocation of memory always will do, or like for user application that we have to request.
for example that malloc will be done locally over here within the user space in on top with the help of heap memory from which it will be get allocated. Yeah. Within this space it will be get allocated, and that memory will be for example that content we are providing to the kernel space for writing into the file. Then this memory cannot be accessible by the kernel space memory. In that case, it has to copy from the user space memory into their kernel space memory, and then it will be get processed accordingly over there. Yeah.
So where the definition will take this kernel is like what should be under user spaces. If who will define, like first user has to define this, or when they will.
This partition is already defined in the kernel. It's something like C followed by 7 zeros up to FF is for kernel space memory. Something like 002 up to C 7 zeros is for the user space memory. It was predefined in the Linux kernel itself. Yeah.
Okay, even if it doesn't depend on the size of the kernel. Suppose my kernel space, I'm not using most of this. Like it is only some 100 MB or like some 400, 500 MB. Then also one should be used.
Yes, yeah. If suppose, for example, that maybe it's even very smaller memory, and currently there is no, for example, here there is no multiple huge applications are running. Even then, the user space will be allocated with the 3 GB and 3 GB of virtual memory and 1 GB of uh, 1 GB of kernel space memory accordingly for the kernel space. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is this fine? Shall we move forward with the kernel module?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, here we have something like a Linux kernel will have the different parts, the process management, memory management and the file system, and the device control and the networking and scheduler parts, all those things. In this session that we will see about the device driver parts.
These are all usual process like how this gets like
Yeah,
managed. Suppose like how this sync between this.
for example, here we can able to see something like a board support package and a Linux kernel source. Inside that we will be having something like a FS is the folder which contains files which handles the file system related stuffs, and we will be having architecture related stuffs, and we have the IPC is for interprocessor communication, and net is the one for the networking stacks, and sound is to handle the
So this all services, these are all services which are running in the background, right?
it's something like a complete source. It will be
Now,
present.
when this get like it should be invoked at a certain point of the build.
Yeah,
Like sometimes.
during the boot up it will be getting yeah, for example, that if we see over here, for example, it will be get loaded with the CPU informations, and it will be get loaded with that the pin control informations over here, like this. We have the pin control informations get loaded, and we have loaded with the networking something like a TCP, UDP, and those things get loaded, and we have the remote procedure call gets loaded, and NFS gets loaded over here. Like this, we will be having something like a asymmetric key, and IO scheduler comes into picture over here, and then we have something like the serial port driver gets loaded over here. Like this, the networking drive, the Ethernet 5 driver gets loaded over here, and we will be having something like the MAC ID, something like we will be having the MDIO Ethernet MDIO management interface that we will be gets loaded over here accordingly, and then we will be having something like a MMC block devices gets loaded, and we will be having something like a TPA HDMI driver gets loaded. Like this, it will be get loaded one by one.
Different process, no?
It's not a different process. It will be something like a the drivers get loaded. Yeah, it will be something like a module get.
But concurrently, it cannot like executed. No, it has to be again like managed one by one. No, like actual CPU processing.
Sorry.
No, the actual CPU processing for this module submit like allocates how this get access to the CPU. This it has to be again like in the flow, like one by one. It will be happening at time.
No, actually, the all those modules are get loaded, and for example, we are going to use something like a, for example, I am going to do LS. Whenever we are doing the LS, then we will be having something like the file system file system block of Linux kernel will be get accessed by the user space application. For example, there won't be any services or continuously running, but the thing is it will be get initiated with the system calls. For example, user program initiates something like a change directory system call, and it goes into the Linux kernel, and Linux kernel will makes that the directory will handle that chdar system calls with respect to the parameters, and it returns back the information. You got it right?
Yeah, that is clear.
Yeah.
But how this different modules are managed? Like, user program may access different modules as well. So, like again, modules has to go back to kernel.
Yes.
So modules are like process are only get sent to the user. It's called.
Modules are it's not some modules or something like it's not a separate process. It will be something like the kernel module will be an independent one, which will be running in the which will be present in the kernel basically.
Is it like something like API only, or like it's just interface only? There is no functionality.
There will be a functionality. For example, we can take an example of for example, if suppose we are going to use the file system module, then whenever we are accessing the file system module, then only that the kernel interface of the file system module get invoked accordingly. If suppose there is no if suppose there is no networking activity is present, then there is no networking networking module will be get activated. Yeah, it will be present ideally within the Linux kernel, but whenever the user space based on the application interface generated by the from the user application, the respective action will be taken in the Linux kernel module accordingly.
Yeah, got it.
There will be all the functionalities, something like a process management, memory management, and file systems, and networking and device control. All those things or features are present within the kernel. It won't run. It won't run by itself. It will be get initiated with the application interface call or system calls from the user application. Whenever the user application initiates to change the directory with the system calls, then only the change directory will happen with the help of file system and storage driver accordingly. Yeah, if suppose there is no change CD is happened, then the storage driver and the file system modules will be present within the kernel, but it won't be it won't take any actions by itself. Yeah, it will respond to the all the modules will respond to the user application interface system calls generated from the user space. For that only it will the kernel module will start act accordingly. Yeah.
So these are all only state informations.
Yes. Yeah. It will be something like for example, it will be available as a functions or functions whenever whenever the user initiates to run that function, then only it will run and return the data. Till the time it will be on the standstill, and it will wait for the information wait for the commands from the user space. Yeah, wait for the system call from the user space accordingly. Yeah.
So this is like the library files we access, like .k files, like we go and access to like .h interface, and then get the function done and then complete.
Yes.
Something like that analogy.
Yeah, it's something like for example, that with the whenever there is a write system call is initiated, then only it will be for example, it is we are going to copy from a makefile from here to back over here, which basically from this it reads that information, reads that file content and write back into the makefile directory over here, makefile over here, which basically does with the help of open AT system call and it updates the F status. Those kind of a system calls are initiated from this. Those kind of a system calls are initiated from the user space application of CP over here. For example, if you take something like a CP makefile dot to the back directory, and this CP is which initiates the system calls to the Linux kernel. Based on the system calls, the kernel does the respective actions and return backs the data, return backs the results and response accordingly. Yeah. If there is no system calls are going to the kernel, the kernel will be ideal and it will be just waiting for the data to come in. Yes. Yeah.
But if there are multiple requests in application layer, it will be like scheduled one by one in process.
Yes. If suppose there is a multi-process and multi-threaded, it will be done with the scheduler of with respect to the priority of the process, with respect to the priority of the thread, it will be get scheduled and executed accordingly. Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Yeah. Now we shall move forward into the Linux kernel module, and here we have the multiple components of the Linux kernel, and something like a process management, memory management, and file system management, and device control. And networking, all those things. Here we will be getting started with the device drivers over here. Basically, device driver is the kernel software layer between application and the hardware. Basically, the application will generate interface to access the hardware with the help of a device driver. Without device driver, application cannot able to access any of the hardware in the Linux kernel systems. Basically, yeah. Device driver basically used to control, configure, and access the device data over there, and it's something like the application. Application can access the device only with the help of using the device driver. Without that, any applications, no application cannot able to access the device accordingly. And the Linux device drivers can be something like for example, we have the device drivers which is integrated within the kernel. For example, here we can able to see something like some of the drivers, something like a OMAP GPIO driver and SDHC driver, the secure digital card, secure digital for the SD card, and MMC. These are all the drivers are already included inside the kernel itself. Like that, we can have the driver or inbuilt within the kernel, and there can be a kernel. There can be a drivers which can be loaded as a module in the runtime after the Linux kernel system got booted up. That we can able to do that as a kernel module as well. Device driver can be integrated in the kernel image itself, and kernel module can be loaded. Module will be loaded after the runtime boot up accordingly, which can be done. We can do with the help of something like a, for example, in the Linux SDK. During the Linux configuration, we will be having something like a
Sir, application layer comes under user space.
yes, yeah. All the application layer comes under the user space. All the Linux kernel will comes under the kernel space accordingly. Yeah. If suppose we have something like board support Linux, and we can use something like a make or equal to, in the Linux kernel source, we can have the menu configurations. Sorry. Here we have something like a make here, for example, in the device driver, this is the kernel source. For example, any device driver of the kernel source, we can define something like a three options will be there if it is a tri-state. For example, star means which something like a that will be added within the kernel image, basically that this driver will be get added within the kernel image. And if suppose there is a M, then this kernel this driver will be created like a module, and it can be loaded at the runtime. And if suppose there is nothing, there is a empty, then this will be configured something like a there is no this driver is not enabled within this kernel accordingly. For example, there is a not selected and within the kernel and compiled as a kernel, it is enabled as a module. Like that we can able to do that with the in the Linux kernel configuration accordingly over here. Yeah, which is called which we are calling something like a integrated into the Linux kernel image, and it can be loaded as a kernel module in the runtime accordingly over here. That we will see of the device driver architecture. It's something like we will be having the multiple user space application wanted to access. We will be having something like a system call interface, and using the system call interface, the kernel will have the respective system call handler, and using the device controller, it access the respective devices over here. That we will see on the over here. And we have something like in the Linux driver, we will be having something like a three kind of device drivers. First one is a character driver, and we will be having the block drivers, and we have the network drivers. Character drivers are something like a stream of bytes, like a files. It will be something like a file. It will be byte by byte. There will be a communication in case of something like a serial port or a text console or a file. Those things are handled in terms of a character driver. And in case of a block drivers, like a hard disk or a eMMC flash or SD card, those things are considered like a block drivers. And network drivers or something like a which with respect to the network transactions like on a Wi-Fi driver or Ethernet driver, all those things are considered like a network driver accordingly over here. The for example that we will be having the application, the comparison between the application versus module, that application will be runs as a single task and to the end. In case of a module, it will be registered to serve future requests accordingly. For example, as we have seen, the file system or memory management, it has been registered and it is alive in the kernel space for the request from the user space application, and any user application can initiate any request at any time. In order to handle that, the module will be keep on wait for the request, and it will serve the request or serve the system calls and return back the data accordingly over here. The application, user space application, which usually runs on the user space, and in case of a module, which will be runs on the kernel space accordingly. Then we will see how can we create a simple module. How can we create that? We can able to see over here, that we will see. Yeah, it's something like in order to do the initialization, there will be a macro called module_init, which basically does the initialization of the module. Without this, module initialization will not be done over there, and we can have something like a in order to clean up the module, we will be having something like a module exit is the functions are present, that we will see. How can we create a driver hello module? How can we insert that we will see over here. For example, I am going to create for example here, in this I am going to create something like a hello.c over here, and inside that I am going to use something like include Linux init.h, which provides the initialization function for this over here, that we will be using Linux/init.h, and then all the module specific functions are declared in the Linux module.h over here. And once it is done, we will be having something like a module init and exit functions that we are going to use. For example, hello init is the module init function, and hello exit is the module exit function that we are going to use over here. For example, I am going to use the in the initialization, we will be returning the integer. If suppose we are returning a 0, the module initialization was success. In case of exit, there will not be any checking for the exit. During the exit, it just removes that kernel module from the kernel accordingly over here. That we will see. That I am going to add two functions, static integer hello underscore init of void. In this, I am going to do something like print. In order to do that printing on the kernel, in order to print that kernel, we will be using the function called printk. Printk is the function in order to print in the kernel module that we will be using over here. print k, and I'm going to use this module hello module inserted into kernel over here, and I'm going to do return 0, and then we have static void hello underscore exit, and then we have something like I'm going to put a print of something like hello module removed from kernel over here. Yeah. Once it is done, there is a macro called module underscore init, which is something like I'm going to link with the hello init, and I have the module underscore exit, which I'm going to link with the hello underscore exit over here. Yeah. And in order to get it accessed with the Linux kernel complete space, we have to define something like the license of the module. Basically, here we are going to define the module as a generic public license as the module over here. It will be something like module underscore license, which basically a GPL license over here. This is the basic kernel module that we have created. Maybe I am going to compile this module over here with the help of a makefile, which I am going to create something like a makefile is called I'm going to create object-name is a makefile, vim makefile, which basically obj-m
So, module underscore license is the case sensitive. Can we give it support?
sorry
The module underscore license. If I give it in caps,
this one,
module underscore license.
this is the macro which is defined within the kernel. Yeah.
Is it case sensitive?
Yes. Yeah. For example, here if suppose here Alexa Linux, this is to Alexa, this is the location that we will generally use to search for the Linux kernel APIs with respect to various version of over here. And for example, module underscore license, which was defined in the Linux module.h basically. Yeah, this is the one which we are using in our in the hello.c over here. This is something like a macro, whatever be the macro defined in the kernel source that we are going to use it in our kernel module over here. Yeah. And here I am going to use object-m, which is something like it is for a module. For that I am going to define object-m, and hello.o is the one which is going to create, and I have the kernel source over here. For example, the whatever be this kernel source that we have used to build, which is present over here. For example, this is the kernel source that we have used to we have used in our system to build. We built and used that, and that will be used as a kernel directory to build our module. For example, that kernel kernel underscore dir equals, yeah, this is the one. And for the default I'm going to use the make and architecture. Our architecture is the ARM, and it wanted to cross compile with respect to GNU, EABI, and present it has to change to the present working directory and build for the modules. For that we are giving m equal to pwd over here, and the kernel directory which it has to use, that we are providing with the -c kernel directory over here, that we are going to use. That, for example, that dollar of make architecture equal to ARM, and cross underscore compile equal to ARM hyphen Linux hyphen GNU EABI HF hyphen GCC is the cross compile over here, and hyphen C dollar kernel underscore dir is the kernel directory, and then I have something like a which module it has to use. It is a present working directory module it has to use over here, make modules over here. Yeah. Once it is done, I am going to give make which basically created something like a for example, it has been created the hello.ko, which is ko is the representation of kernel object, which means that it is a kernel object over here, and the kernel this kernel object can be loaded into our board accordingly. If suppose that we will see, yeah, here we have the kernel module over here. In order to insert a kernel module, we have the command called insmod is the command to insert a kernel module into the Linux kernel accordingly over here. For example, I am going to do insmod hello.ko, which basically gets the print. It's something like a hello module gets inserted into the kernel over here, and in order to view that what are all the whether the module is available, for example, that hello is the module which is available currently over here, and if suppose we wanted to remove a module from the kernel, we can use the command called rmmod, then the module name hello, which makes that the particular kernel module will be removed from the Linux kernel accordingly. For example, we got the print of hello module removed from the kernel. For example, whenever we are inserting a kernel module, we are getting something like we will be getting the whatever be the print that we have given on the hello init module init, that will be get called accordingly. In case of whenever we are doing the rmmod, the whatever we are provided in the hello module exit, that function will be get called accordingly over here. For based on that, here we have something like I have done the insmod. Then for example, if suppose we wanted to get more information about the module, then we can go into the sys will provide the information about the module, and sys module we will be having something like a it will be provided with the all the modules which is available, and it can be loadable over here. For example, here we have something like a sys module hello, and it will be provided with the information about information about the information about the particular module over here. For example, we have something like a this provides the init size, and we have the state, the current state of the module over here, whether it is live or not. If suppose we have rm mod, it is a live, currently it is in live mode, and we have something like a source version, that we will be having the source version over here. And if suppose we wanted to check the taint information, it's something like whether it is whether it is invalid with respect to the current kernel, we will be getting the taint informations over here. And like this we will be having the information about the kernel module over here. And if suppose basically that we will be having the if suppose, for example, that we wanted to if suppose you are trying if suppose you are trying on the virtual box to get loaded this kernel, we have to give the virtual box kernel accordingly. For example, I am going to try this over here. Yeah, in the host PC itself, for the I'm going to do LDD Ubuntu maybe. Yeah, I'm going to copy that CP home Nivicom Bala, and which I'm going to copy the whatever we have done for the hello.c, that I'm going to copy. In this I'm going to do the makefile changes with respect to my PC over here. In order to get that my current kernel, I'm going to use uname-r, which is the current kernel, and the kernels in order to build with the current kernel, I'm going to use libmodules and the generic 91 generic, and build is the directory in which that this will be the current running directory will be there, and I am going to copy this into my makefile. Instead of the current directory, I am going to do this in the kernel directory. I am going to change with respect to my PC directory, and there won't be any cross compilation required for our for the local machine. Then we can use it directly, and I'm going to do make. Yeah, the hello.make, it has been created, and I'm going to use sudo insmod hello.ko over here, and we will be getting something like a hello module inserted into the kernel accordingly over here. And I'm going to do rm mod hello over here, and which basically hello module has been removed from the kernel accordingly over here accordingly. Yeah. Like this we can explore in the normal VirtualBox as well in Ubuntu VirtualBox itself, that we can able to explore this LDD program accordingly. Now we will see yeah. Now we have seen how can we create a make file and how can we build that kernel module, and how can we inserting a kernel module with the help of insmod and the kernel module hello.ko and rmmod and hello, which will removes a kernel module from the kernel accordingly over here. And apart from this, we will be having the different utilities, something like a insmod, which inserts the module, and modprobe, which will be based on the dependency. It will be able to insert the add or remove the module accordingly. And we will be having something like a sys modules and the respective information that we can able to get that. And we will be having something like a proc modules, and we have the file called proc devices that we will see with the character driver. And if suppose we wanted to add if suppose we have the we wanted to provide some kind of parameters or parameters to the module, we can able to do that with the help of the arguments, something like a module underscore param as well as a module underscore param array. It can be a array of variables that we can able to provide accordingly over here. Yeah. For example, that module param that we have, it takes 3 arguments, something like a variable name and variable type and a permission mask used for sysfs access, that we will see. The same way module parameter array, it will have something like a variable name and a type, and we will be having something like a variable name, a type, and number of array numbers that we can able to get it, we can able to provide. And permission mask, how can we the parameters, how can be accessed from the sysfs, that we can able to provide in the permission mask, whether it can be a readable only, or it can be a writable only, or it can be something like a read by the users, that we will see how we can able to provide that information, that we will see with the by adding a module param to the kernel module accordingly over here. Yeah, I'm going to add something like a vim hello.c. Inside that, I'm going to do something like a module underscore param underscore, maybe if suppose I wanted to have something like a buffer count, I'm going to use something like a buff count is as a integer, and I'm going to define something like a integer buff count equal to, maybe the buff count is something like 8 by default is 8, and which I have configured. And maybe it's something like if suppose we wanted to do something like 0664 is the permission that I am going to give. It's something like the group 644, so that root user can able to write and read, and group user can able to read that information from the sysfs, and the user can able to read this information from the sysfs accordingly. This is the sysfs parameters that I am going to give over here. Now I am going to compile this one, make. Yeah, now it got compiled. Maybe we can try that on the hardware, and I am going to do lsmod. There is a it has been removed, and I am going to insert this hello.ko over here. Maybe we can add the parameters accordingly. I am going to add some more information into it. It's something like hello module inserted into the kernel with buff count as something like a, I'm going to give the buff count over here. Now I'm going to compile this again. Now by default I'm going to insmod hello.ko over here, that we have got the buff count, which is by default we have configured with the value of something like a 8 is the value that we have configured. The same name, same value, we got it accordingly. And if suppose we wanted to load the kernel module with the buff count, different buffer count, if in that case we can use the parameters of something like I'm going to use insmod hello world.ko, and I'm going to give buff count as something like a 16 with the higher value, and we can able to get that information of buff count as a 16, and we have given the permissions for the parameters for the sysfs that we will see over here. For example, cd /sys module and hello will be, we got the information about the parameters of the hello module, that buff count is the parameters, and which we will be having something like a whatever we have provided, something we have provided the option something like a 644 is the parameters, sysfs parameters that provided we got the same value, something like a read and write for the root access, and read for the group user, and read for the normal user as well, that we got it accordingly. And we can able to get that information buff count, for example 16. We have loaded that we have loaded the kernel module with the buff count of 16, and since we have the write access from the root user, we can change that the buff counter, change the buff count value with runtime as well. It's something like I'm going to add echo to buff count over here, and which makes that buff count to 24, and maybe we can check that with the help of rmod hello.ko, rmod hello, which we will be removed, and maybe I'm going to add something like a removed from kernel, and with buff count, something like I'm going to print the buff count while I am returning from the kernel module over here. Now we have make. I'm going to I'm going to insmod this very hello with the insmod hello.ko, over here with a buff count of something like a maybe I'm going to give the buff count as a 12 over here. It has been loaded with the buff count of 12 over here, and if suppose I'm going to sys module hello and parameters of something like a buff count, I'm going to get the buff count over here. Buff count is 12, and if suppose I am updating the buff count to 24 over here, and it will be update this makes that variable present in the hello dot in the kernel module. This buff count will be get updated accordingly, and that we can able to see whenever we are doing something like a rm mod hello. Whenever we are I am trying to remove the hello, and we got the buff count value as the 24. This makes that flexible to update the parameters, and I suppose we are using a buffer count of 4 and checking the performance and increasing a buffer count to 8 and increasing the buffer count to 16 with the runtime. That can be done with the help of sys module parameters of the kernel module parameters accordingly. That we can able to do that with the help of module underscore param macro, which is provided in the Linux kernel accordingly over here. Yeah, the same way that we can able to provide some kind of a array informations array also, we can able to do that with the help of same way something like module underscore param underscore something like an array is the one which basically gets the variable name and type, whether it is an integer or character, and number of counts we will be having, and we will be having the mask accordingly over here. That we will see module underscore param underscore array, that I am going to have something like a integer data of 4 over here. Then we can provide data comma integer comma 4 comma 0644 over here. Yeah, this will work in a similar way as the variable, but the thing is it will be something like it will be something that we can give the numbers in order to make that full access to the array, that we can provide a null over there. And maybe if you that we have the informations, and I am going to do rm mod hello dot ko, which basically there is no module, and I am going to use insmod hello dot ko. Sorry, I forgot to add the print. Maybe we can add the print of data. Maybe I am going to print, for example, integer I equals 0, maybe integer I for I equals 0, I less than 4, and I plus plus print k data of percentage d equals percentage d slash n over here I comma data of I over here. In the same way I am going to do while exiting 3yy integer I over here. Yeah. And I'm going to insert this hello.ko insmod this hello.ko with the help of over here, and insmod hello.ko and data equals something like the buff count. The data I am going to give as an array as parameters over here, and this will be something like the without that I am going to give it will be something like that. We have give the there is it has been initialized with the zeros, all zeros, and if suppose we are providing the same way like insmod and data equals something like 0 cross 01 comma 0 cross 02 0 cross 03 comma 0 cross 04 over here. Sorry. Sorry. I'm going to give 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. Yeah, it has been loaded with the data of 0 gets loaded with the 1, data of 1 gets loaded with the 2, 3, 4, like that. If suppose we wanted to change that, it can the similar way what how we have done for a variable, that we can also change with the help of sys module and hello parameters, and we will be having something like a data cat data over here, which is something like a 1 2 3 4, and maybe we can use something like a 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40 can be loaded into the data over here, and we have the 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40, and if suppose we are doing the rm mod of a hello, then we will be having something like whatever we have loaded onto the data 10 comma 20 comma 30 30 comma 40, which has been loaded into the data array parameter data array accordingly over here. This can be done with the module, and we can pass the parameters to the module with the help of module underscore param, and array of informations which can be information can be passed to the module with the help of module underscore param underscore array accordingly over there. Yeah, and we have a function called printk, which basically prints that messages exclusively for the Linux kernel. Which basically which is very similar to the printf function which is present in the C library, which is very similar to the C library printf function, but it has been added with the same like a passing of format strings like a %d and those kind of a format strings, but it has been added with the added with that more kernel debug parameters with respect to that we will see. The kernel log level is present, current log level is present with respect to the proc sys kernel print k. Based on that, the print k will come over here. For example, cat proc sys kernel and print k over here, which basically provides something like a 7, which means that all the all the logs will be get printed on the 7, which is something like all the logs will be get printed. The log level that we will see over here, that the log level number 1 is something like a kernel emergency. In emergency conditions, informations only will get printed, and in case of a log level 2, kernel alert only will be get printed, and kernel critical conditions only get printed, and kernel warning message only get printed accordingly. And if suppose we wanted to make that kernel notice, if suppose we can provide the as a notice message that we can able to use with the help of a tag called kernel notice and kernel info and kernel debug accordingly. And for example, how can we use this in order to make that our printf logs to work, that we will see over here. Yeah. That I'm going to use vim hello.c, and I'm going to add something like a, before that I'm going to add kernel underscore debug over here, kernel underscore debug, which is something like a kernel underscore debug over here. The same way I'm going to use kernel underscore debug. These are all the debug messages. Maybe data I'm going to have it as a parameters, and which can be something like a which I'm going to define something like a info, kernel informations, that I'm going to define kernel underscore info over here, and kernel underscore info, like that I have defined now, and I'm going to build this make. Yeah, now I'm going to clear currently that kernel level print k level is 7, which means that the kernel debug, which is 7, is something like the kernel debug, and all the 7 less than equal to 7 log level will be get printed in the system. Because of that, we will be getting all the informations over here. For example, I am going to insmod this hello.ko, and I got that I got that information over here. And if suppose I am going to use something like a echo 8 for example, if suppose we have something like a I'm going to insmod hello.ko again. Now I got the print of hello module get inserted over here. Since the current level of print k is something like a 8, which is something like a all less than 8 that will be get printed over here. Because of that, it get printed. For example, I am going to do hello.ko, and we can update something like a I am going to update to 7 over here, which is something like all the information less than kernel debug will be get printed. For example, in that case, I'm going to insmod. There is no message of hello module. Here we got something like a hello module inserted, but we did not get that information over here because we have that we have defined something like a this hello module as a kernel debug, and since we want does not required currently, we configured to print less than log level of 7, because less than log level of 7 is the kernel debug. Less than kernel debug, it will be get printed. Because of that, kernel info messages are get printed. If suppose I am going to use something like a echo 7, instead of echo 7 I am going to do echo 6. Now I am going, if you see hello.ko, there is no messages are printed. Because of that, the current level is only the if suppose we wanted to monitor only the error messages, less than kernel info messages, it like that we can able to configure the print k outputs accordingly. This makes that dynamic enabling of print k accordingly in our systems. If suppose we wanted to get the debug messages to get printed in our system, we can make the highest value of echo 8 into the, so that all the debug informations will be get printed. And if suppose we wanted to restrict the print k log levels on the current console, if suppose we wanted to have only the kernel alert and less than kernel alert only, then we can configure with the print k of 2, so that say proxys kernel print k can be provided with the value of 2. Then we will be getting only the critical errors only, or in critical error messages from the kernel module accordingly over here. For that it has been given with the multiple log levels of information in order to print that accordingly. For that we have the kernel debug. All the debug related information can be provided with the macro something like print k kernel debug and the informations, and same way kernel info can be provided for the information like messages, and notice kernel underscore notice can be provided something like a normal messages to and we have, if suppose we wanted to make a log level of warning, then we can provide kernel underscore warn, and kernel underscore critical, it is something like a is to denote the critical condition in the system, and kernel underscore alert, it is to make the immediate actions, and kernel underscore emergency is something like it is highly emergency situation, the system may probably become dead. In order to denote that, we will be using the kernel underscore emerge log level of log level macro in the print k accordingly over here. Yeah. And also something like we can there is a flexibility. Hello, is that fine? Yeah, okay. There is a flexibility to put a print k from the user space as well. It's something like that we can able to add that into the default log messages log level, that we can able to add it accordingly. That we can able to do that with the help of with the driver which has been provided by the Linux kernel, which is something like a dev/k message, which provides the user space to put a message to the kernel space. For example, kernel log over here. For example, I am going to use this over here. Yeah, which basically does that. For example, it has been going to do something like a hello from user space into dev/k message over here, which basically adds that hello from user space. And if suppose we see that kernel message log with the help of dmessage, then we can able to see something like a hello from user space, that we got it, that we pushed it now. And similar way we can able to add something like a error message over here, that we can able to add it with the help of error numbers accordingly by the system over here, that we can able to do that with the text messages accordingly. And for example, that whatever be the messages that we are adding into the dev/kernel messages, that will be available in the dmessage, which is an Linux kernel dmessages, in which it will be present accordingly. That kernel dmessages will be taken from the file called var log messages. From that we will be getting that additional kernel information with respect to the timestamp. We will be getting it accordingly, whether it is a warning information or info. For example, that we have defined that hello module removed, hello module inserted as a debug, that we got the debug messages over here. And in case of info, it's something like how it was defined, whether it is a info message or a debug message. The complete information we can able to get that with the help of varlog messages file from the Linux system accordingly over here. And then we have the information called something like if suppose we wanted to export the some of the symbol from one module to another module, that we will see on the for example for example, that we wanted to use some kind of a symbol from one module to another module, then we can use something like a export underscore symbol and export underscore. If it is a GPL licensed symbol, then we will be using a export symbol underscore module, that we can able to do that with the help of some, maybe I'm going to do something like copying hello.c as a hello1.c over here, and vim hello1.c, and I'm going to use the same way. And one more thing, add something like we can use the static for the variables defined, so that it will not get conflict with others, that we can able to do that over here. For example, I am going to use I'm going to create a simple one which does not do the insmod, but the thing is it will be provided with the functions that will be that will have the symbols accordingly over here. For example, I'm going to use functions of hello1 init and hello1 maybe I'm having the function called hello test over here from one module, and which I'm going to use something like a print k kernel underscore info test function called over here, and return 0, and I am going to use something like a maybe hello 1 exit, and I am going to use the symbol something like a export underscore symbol underscore GPL of something like a hello underscore test over here. Now I am going to compile this both hello and hello.c, hello 1 and hello.c over here with something in this. I am going to call this in the hello.c I am going to call this hello test function over here. I am just defining the prototype, and I am going to call this hello underscore test from the hello.c. I am going to do that, and within this maybe I am going to add one more thing, obj-m plus equals hello 1 dot o over here. Make. Now we have hello.ko and hello1.ko, both are got created, and maybe rmmod. I am going to insmod hello.ko now, and which basically provides some kind of a error, which is an unknown symbol hello underscore test, which is which basically present in the hello 1.c. hello 1 module contain something like a hello underscore test is the function which is present in the hello 1.c hello 1 dot module, which means that something like I am going to insmod hello 1.ko first. It got inserted, and I am going to insert hello.ko. Now it got inserted basically, and if we see the ls mod, and we will be having something like a hello 1. This module is used by another module which is called hello over here, and the count number 1, which is something like which denotes this module was used by another module because of how many modules it was used. This hello 1 was used by hello is another one module has been used, this one. For this we have the used count of 1, which is denoted over here. If suppose we are going to remove the module hello 1 over here, which means that we cannot unload the module, since the hello is the module was used by hello is the module is uses the hello 1 module. Because of that, it cannot be removed. The hello 1 direct cannot be removed directly. In order to remove, it has to be removed. Hello should be removed first, and then hello 1 can be removed next from the module. Basically, this is called something like a module stacking. For example, we wanted to have some kind of a module stacking. It's something like one module functions will be used by another modules. Something like if suppose we are using a camera driver, there will be a sensor drive, there will be a V4L2, there will be a core layer. For example, hello 1 is the core layer, and core layer will be used by another set of camera drivers, and the camera drivers will be used by another set of drivers. Like that, it will be used in the Linux kernel, which is called something like a module stacking in the Linux kernel accordingly over there. For example, here we have used something like a hello 1 is the module that has the functions. It was used by hello module in order to make that in order to make that printing the test make that a simple test function is called something like that. We wanted to use that. For that we have used hello. Hello 1 is the core module, and hello is the another module which we are using it accordingly. For example, here hello.ko, which we are trying to insmod, it does not have the symbol of hello test, and because of that we are going to use the hello 1 is the module we are loading into the kernel, and we will be having the hello test function which is present in the kernel. Now we can able to load the hello.ko into the kernel accordingly, and the hello underscore test function gets called over here in the hello module accordingly over here. Yeah, this basically provides the module stacking feature of the kernel, Linux kernel, that we can able to do that with the export symbol accordingly in the real time. Basically, this basically provides, if suppose we wanted to expose with respect to the general public license, then we will be using the macro called export symbol GPL, and in case we wanted to use with respect to the proprietary non GPL module only can use, then we can export symbol like a export underscore symbol accordingly in our kernel module over there. Yeah, with this we have brief introduction about the kernel module. You have any clarifications and doubts over here?